Japan's organized crime is mostly controlled by the Yakuza. These are groups that act like mafias and are involved in both illegal activities and legal businesses. The Yakuza are considered semi-legal organizations with about 80,000 members. The biggest Yakuza groups are the Yamaguchi-gumi, Sumiyoshi-kai, and Inagawa-kai. The Yamaguchi-gumi is the largest Yakuza group in Japan, formed around 1915. It makes up about 30% of all Yakuza members, with around 40,000 members today. The group's leader, Shinobu Tsukasa, also called Kenichi Shinoda, has expanded their influence into Tokyo and other areas they didn't control before. The Yamaguchi-gumi is involved in illegal activities like gambling, drug trafficking, and extortion, but they also have a big presence in legal businesses like real estate and entertainment. The Sumiyoshi Kai is the second largest Yakuza group, with about 2,200 members. Unlike other Yakuza groups, it works more like a group of smaller gangs instead of having a strict chain of command. The leader, Shuji Ogawa, manages the group with a more flexible leadership style. The Sumiyoshi Kai is involved in illegal activities, but its structure gives its smaller groups more freedom. The Inagawa Kai is one of the largest Yakuza groups, though it is smaller than the Yamaguchi-gumi and Sumiyoshi Kai. It is known for being very organized and disciplined in its activities. Like other Yakuza groups, it is involved in illegal activities like extortion and racketeering, but it also has some legal business operations. The Yakuza have a system where there is a clear hierarchy called the Oyabun Koban structure. Oyabun, the boss or leader, who has the most power and makes all the important decisions. Koban, the members or followers who promise loyalty to their Oyabun. This relationship is like a family, and there are rituals that help strengthen loyalty and discipline among them. Mafia groups, especially the Yakuza in Japan, have a big impact on many parts of society. They affect regular people, businesses, politicians, the police, and certain communities. Their influence is complex, with both negative and sometimes even positive effects. Ordinary citizens. Fear and intimidation. Many people live in fear because of the Yakuza's criminal activities. The threat of violence can stop people from reporting crimes or speaking up against illegal actions. This creates a fearful atmosphere where people might feel they have to follow Yakuza demands, like paying protection money. Social stigma. Families of Yakuza members often face rejection from society. For example, children of Yakuza members might be bullied or discriminated against at school or in their communities because of their family connections. Economic help. Sometimes, the Yakuza have given money to help people in times of crisis. For example, after the 1995 Kobe earthquake, the Yamaguchi-gumi secretly helped victims, and some people accepted the aid even though they knew where it came from. Businesses. Protection rackets. Many businesses are forced to pay for protection to avoid damage or threats from other gangs or troublemakers. This can increase costs and make businesses rely on organized crime for safety. Corruption and collusion. The Yakuza often get involved in real businesses by forming partnerships or investing. This can lead to corrupt practices, where business owners might feel forced to do illegal things to keep their ties with the Yakuza. Economic impact. While the Yakuza's involvement may bring short-term profits through illegal activities like gambling, it creates a culture of corruption. This harms fair competition and slows down long-term economic growth. Politicians. Political corruption. The Yakuza have had close ties with politicians in the past, using bribery and threats to influence their decisions. This can result in policies that benefit organized crime instead of the public. Election influence. Some politicians might depend on Yakuza support during elections, creating a cycle where organized crime continues to have power in politics. This weakens democracy and leads to corruption in government. Law enforcement. Challenges for police. The Yakuza makes it harder for the police to do their job. Although police try to target these groups, the Yakuza's strong networks and influence can stop investigations and prosecutions. Some police officers might even avoid confronting the Yakuza because they fear revenge or political problems. Low violent crime rates. In some areas, the Yakuza's control has actually led to lower violent crime rates. They want to keep order in their territories and often stop random violence that could interfere with their operations. In the Japanese context, the term mafia cult often refers to organized crime syndicates, with the Yakuza being the most prominent example. While mafia typically conjures images of Italian organized crime, in Japan, it encompasses a unique cultural and social structure that combines elements of criminality with traditional values and rituals. Organizational structure. The Yakuza operate under a hierarchical system known as the Oyabun-Kobun relationship, where the Oyabun boss assumes a paternal role over the Kobun subordinates or protégés. This relationship is akin to a family structure, emphasizing loyalty and obedience. Members often participate in elaborate rituals that reinforce their commitment to the organization. For instance, practices such as yubitsum, or the amputation of the left little finger as a form of penance for breaking codes of conduct, are notable 12. Additionally, many members are heavily tattooed, which serves as both a form of personal expression and a symbol of their affiliation with the Yakuza. Mafia cults like the Yakuza engage in various illegal activities, including extortion, drug trafficking, gambling, and loan sharking. They also have significant control over legitimate businesses, such as bars, restaurants, and construction companies. 23. Their influence extends into local communities and politics, often blurring the lines between legal and illegal operations. The term Yakuza itself translates to good for nothing, reflecting their self-perception as societal outcasts or rejects. This identity is rooted in their historical origins, which include groups of bandits and protectors who emerged during Japan's feudal period. 23. While Yakuza organizations are often viewed negatively due to their criminal activities, they sometimes position themselves as protectors of local communities, particularly during times of crisis, e.g. natural disasters. This duality complicates public perceptions and interactions with these groups. Yakuza operations. Illegal activities. The Yakuza are involved in many criminal activities. These include drug trafficking, extortion, forcing people or businesses to pay money, illegal gambling, and smuggling. These activities are their main source of income. Legal businesses. Surprisingly, the Yakuza also run legitimate businesses. They are involved in industries like real estate, construction, and entertainment. These legal operations help them make money while hiding their illegal activities. Cultural influence. The Yakuza have a strong influence on Japanese culture. They appear in movies, books, and video games, shaping how people think about them. In some ways, they are both feared and romanticized in popular culture. The Yakuza play a complex role in crime rates, economic inequality, and corruption. In terms of crime rates, their control over certain areas has helped keep violent crimes low, as they maintain order to avoid police attention. However, their illegal activities, like extortion and drug trafficking, contribute to overall crime in Japan. They also affect economic inequality by targeting vulnerable businesses and individuals, forcing them to pay protection money or engage in corrupt deals, which worsens financial gaps. Corruption is another big issue, as the Yakuza often bribe politicians and law enforcement to protect their operations, undermining trust in the government and legal system. The Yakuza emerged in Japan during the Edo period, 1603 to 1868. They started as two main groups: Takiya, who were street peddlers selling goods at markets, and Bakudo, who were gamblers running illegal gambling dens. Over time, these groups became more organized and gained power by providing services like protection in exchange for loyalty or money. By the 20th century, the Yakuza had grown into large criminal organizations involved in both illegal and legal activities. They evolved into powerful syndicates with strict hierarchies, influencing various parts of Japanese society, from businesses to politics. The Yakuza's influence peaked in the mid-20th century, particularly after World War II. During this time, Japan was rebuilding, and the Yakuza took advantage of the chaos to expand their operations. They controlled black markets, offered protection to businesses, and even helped rebuild neighborhoods. In the 1960s, their power was at its height, with tens of thousands of members across Japan. They were deeply involved in both illegal activities and legitimate businesses, and even had connections with politicians and law enforcement. However, stricter laws in the late 20th century and increased police efforts have since reduced their influence, although they still exist today. The Yakuza are most active in big cities and regions where there are major business and financial hubs. Cities like Tokyo, Osaka, Kobe, and Fukuoka have a strong Yakuza presence. Kobe, in particular, is known as the headquarters of the largest Yakuza group, the Yamaguchi-gumi. These groups focus on areas where they can control businesses, construction projects, entertainment industries, and other profitable activities. They are also active in ports and urban areas, where they can run illegal operations like smuggling and extortion. The Yakuza impact society by controlling illegal businesses like gambling and extortion, as well as legal ones like real estate, which disrupts the economy. They influence politics through bribery and election support, leading to corruption. While they maintain order in some areas, their criminal activities, such as violence and extortion, create safety concerns and discourage people from reporting crimes due to fear of retaliation. Japan is working hard to reduce the influence of the Yakuza. Law enforcement has strengthened efforts to arrest members and break down their operations. The government has passed strict laws, like the anti-Yakuza law, which makes it illegal for businesses to cooperate with the Yakuza. There are also public initiatives to raise awareness about the dangers of organized crime, encouraging people to report illegal activities. Although the Yakuza still exist, these efforts have helped weaken their power and influence over time.